Hello, my name is Jacob Christian, and welcome to another exciting episode of Professionals in Steubenville area. Today's a little different. We have a brand new setup. As you guys can see, it's snowing outside, and also we have attorney Adam Martello from Steubenville, Ohio. How are you doing today?
Good, man. Thanks for having me.
So you're a professional in Steubenville, Ohio. You do a
Yes.
lot professionally. You do a lot. So what do you do exactly for a living?
Yeah, so I'm a private practice attorney. I handle real estate and probate matters, estate planning matters. I do some criminal defense work. So basically, you know, if you're going to get married, have kids, unfortunately pass away or get in trouble, or you know, if you're dealing with any real estate deals or any issues on that front, I handle those matters.
And you seem like you do a lot. You mentioned a lot of things you do. What exactly motivates you to do this every day?
I think just in general, I've always just been motivated by a high desire for achievement. So whatever I'm doing, at whatever it may be, whether it's you know, my professional life, or as you know, I coach basketball, whatever that is, I want to do that at the highest level that I can. So you know, that's kind of what motivates me to try to do a good job every day.
And you mentioned you've always been motivated. So, like, how did you get to where you are today from when you first began to be a lawyer?
Yeah, it's a good question. I think the first thing is just getting through roadblocks. I think that's the most important thing. You know, the path for me being a lawyer was not a direct one. You know, I wanted to be a veterinarian.
Yeah.
You know, and I think learning to deal with those roadblocks and those kind of change of plans that maybe you didn't anticipate, that's really what got me to
Where you are
be
today.
what I am today, yeah.
So you mentioned you wanted to be a veterinarian, and I'm pretty sure you had goals when you first wanted to be that.
Yeah.
How have your goals changed from then to how they are now? You're a lawyer at Steubenville, Ohio.
Yeah, I think I just had a better sense in really what I wanted out of life, you know. So kind of when I mentioned the roadblocks, kind of when you hit one of those roadblocks, you kind of have to reassess, right?
Yeah.
And so, you know, for me, that was my freshman year of college when, you know, I kind of hit that roadblock to being a veterinarian. And I kind of had to reflect on, you know, what do you really want out of life? Because at the end of the day, like, whether you choose a profession or whatever it may be, like, you want certain things out of life, right? And for me, you know, I wanted really three things. And so I wanted to be able to make a good living. I wanted to be able to help people every day. And I wanted to, you know, basically be my own boss.
Exactly.
And there's not too many things that check those boxes. So I started exploring the options that check all three of those boxes. And being an attorney was one of those things. And so I kind of explored that. You know, explored that option and realized that it was a really good fit for me, and that's kind of when I, you know, decided to go that route and come back to Steubenville after law school and open a law practice.
So would you say you've accomplished any of your goals?
Yeah, every day I accomplish those goals.
You're still working towards it every
Yeah,
single
you
day?
know, and it's there, like, you have short-term goals, long-term goals, right? And everyone's goal should be to meet their goals in the short term and work towards those long-term goals, right? So. Yeah, every day I get to meet those short-term goals, and you know, with the hope of meeting those long-term goals. And
you mentioned blocks in your career. So what's your biggest struggle now as a professional?
I mean, being an attorney has unique challenges, unique roadblocks. You know, client development when you first start is a huge roadblock, especially when you start like I did. Like when I started, I had 0 clients. I got sworn in and opened a practice. So, you know, that I think was the biggest roadblock. Starting out, you know, as you develop, you know, a professional, you know, book of business, as you would call it, or you develop your clientele, or whatever, you know, whatever language you want to use, I think the roadblock becomes, you know, managing those cases in an expedient manner, and you know, not letting cases slip through the cracks and stuff like that. As you build a book of business that you know is capable of sustaining, you know, a lifestyle, that becomes the challenge. So it no longer becomes, you know, getting business in, it's managing the business you have.
Yeah, and you mentioned that you've accomplished some of your goals, and you also have long-term goals. So, like, who was your role model through the short-term goals that you've accomplished?
Yeah, I mean, I've had a bunch of, I would call them mentors, if you will, because it's you know, there's a million different paths you can go when you know, you become an attorney. I think the rarest path is to open your own business, open your own practice right off the bat, right? But one of the advantages to, you know, the bar is what we call a group of attorneys in a certain area. So one of the advantages of our bar in this county is that, you know, at one point pretty much everyone was where I was. you know, because most of the attorneys here, you know, didn't work in a firm or a big city before they opened a practice. They came straight back here and opened their practice. So, you know, I was fortunate that, you know, I've had a lot of people that have helped me along the way. You know, Mike Bednar has been great. Sean Blake has been great. Jeff Braziz has been great. The judges in this county are phenomenal on helping, you know, all of them. You know, there's not a single judge that, you know, I've been in front of that I have not felt has been very advantageous to helping me as a young attorney kind of be brought along and shown the right way to do things and stuff like that. You know, I think those guys, in the criminal defense bar, you know, Steve Stickles, Eric Reschke, those guys were enormous helps when I first started, just because you learn, you know, the theory of being a lawyer in law school, but you don't learn how to actually lawyer in law school, right?
Do you feel like that's just like something naturally, like that you like have to like learn throughout life?
Yeah, you really have to. And the advantage of being in a firm is that you have a partner or a junior partner, whoever, you know, overseeing everything and making sure that you're doing things the right way. You don't have that advantage when you're, you know, a solo practitioner or a small firm practitioner in a small town. But our bar is phenomenal with understanding, you know, the struggles of a new attorney and really looking out for them to make sure that they're doing things the right way. You know, they're not stepping on landmines that could hurt the career and stuff like that.
So do you plan on one day becoming a judge?
You know, that's hard to say. I think our judges are really great in this county. Really you know, at all levels. You know, John Massio was a great mentor to me. He's the judge in Steubenville Municipal Court.
We had him on here.
Yeah. Oh, did you? Yeah, he's great. You know, he does a great job down there. Our county court judges are phenomenal. All of our common pleas court judges are phenomenal. And so, you know, I don't see a reason for them to not be there.
Yeah.
Right. You know, I think that they do a phenomenal job every day. So, you know, whether or not I'd be a judge kind of depends on, you know, when that opportunity arises and if that's something that, you know, I would want at that point in time.
And I'm pretty sure there's other kids in the world that's looking forward to be a judge one day. Do you have any advice, or even a lawyer, do you have any advice you want to give to the younger generation out there? Yeah,
I think from being a lawyer standpoint, I mean, this is it's a tough gig, right? It's high stress. It's very demanding, you know. I think the biggest thing with that is to not get, you know, caught in the thick of it, and just, you know, you take it case by case, you take it day by day,
slowly.
And, you know, you don't get overwhelmed with, you know, every little thing in every little case, and you kind of, you know, take it piece by piece, which I know is cliche, but that's really the truth. Exactly. That's what's helped me, you know, because when, you know, you look at a week and you've got a stack of files this big that you have to get through, right? That can be overwhelming, but if you realize that all of those are individual cases with individual problems that can be solved individually, it kind of breaks it down a lot. So, and I think that's good advice for any professional that gets involved and becomes successful. I think, you know, the biggest thing is just not being lost with the big picture of it, and just dealing with the details of each little part, I think is huge. So yeah, hopefully that's great advice.
That's great advice. We want to thank you for not only all you do for us, but you do for our community. We want to thank you for all your time and everything.
Yeah, my pleasure. Thanks for having me on. It was great.
Of course. Thank you for tuning in to Professionals in Steubenville Area. We look forward to seeing you guys next time right here on Professionals in Steubenville.